There is an almighty row brewing about the ECHR. That argument seems to centre around two key things: perception on the world stage and sovereignty over border control. In terms of how it would look on the world stage for us to get out of the ECHR, I'm a bit sick of British citizens having to pay the price for how the elites think we should look to their elite mates around the world. That is a luxury ambition for people who can afford luxuries, which many ordinary Brits simply cannot. People say if we pulled out of the ECHR, we'd be like Russia or Belarus. I mean, that's just not true, is it? But by that logic, we'd also be like anybody else who isn't in it, like, America, Canada, New Zealand, Japan. I'd rather be like those countries than, like Bosnia or Lithuania or North Macedonia. In Belarus, a couple of years ago, there was a political uprising and about 27,000 people were initially detained. Thousands were tortured, shot, beaten and killed. In Belarus, their security services are still known as the KGB. Over here, people can get away with tearing down a statue and chucking it in a harbour, and our police force are at pains not to accidentally misgender someone. There is a big difference there, isn't there? The element of how we're perceived on the world stage that I really care about is how clearly millions of people from Africa and the Middle East think that we're a meal ticket and a free ride. Our standing on the world stage, clearly, is that we are a soft touch. Now, when it comes to sovereignty over our own borders, I feel like the vast majority of Brits are not comfortable with somebody from Luxembourg, Lichtenstein, Monaco or Moldova being able to tell us who we can and cannot deport. That just doesn't sit that well with me. It doesn't feel right. But it is this way if there was to be a vote on the table today that asked British citizens if they wanted foreign judges to be able to dictate who we could and could not keep in Britain. I personally don't think that we would vote for that. So, should we now be given the choice to vote to leave it? I actually do feel sorry for Suella Braverman and Rishi Sunak. We've given money to the French to do a bit more in the Channel. We've taken in genuine asylum seekers and refugees from Ukraine and Afghanistan, as well as other nations. They've gone into battle over the illegal migration bill. They've sorted out a Rwanda plan, kind of. Suella stood up on the world stage and said that the world needs to change its definition of a refugee, frankly, in order to save the world from falling into total chaos and disrepair. But the world didn't want to know. So what's the only option now? Is it not to leave the ECHR and have more control? The world isn't going to help us out here in Britain. Isn't it time to just help ourselves?